The scope of my presentation I had actually prepared covering evolution of autonomous vehicles, design, next slide. Design criteria, rise of autonomous vehicle, AVs in defense, roadmap of the Indian Navy, and some challenges. Next. Basically, the autonomous vehicle have the origin in science fiction, which we all read in our comics. In World War II, remote control vehicles were very extensively used, and they laid the foundation for what we know as autonomous vehicles today. In the 1960s, Stanford University made a foray by developing the Stanford cart. This used sensors and computers to navigate in a controlled environment. In the 2000s, DARPA came up with a lot of grand challenges, which actually motivated a lot of small companies and individuals and spurred innovation in this field. And then we saw the Google car, which came up as a self-driven project in 2009. And subsequently, Tesla, as we know it, came up with the autopilot feature. Now, what do all these have in common? That is, the advancement in sensor technology, artificial intelligence, and machine learning has been the critical factor which has driven this field. Next. The design of autonomous vehicle involves a comprehensive cross-disciplinary approach that encompasses various fields like robotics, computer science, automotive engineering, and human-computer interaction. The first and foremost in this is mission-specific adaptability that includes the ability of these AVs to work in diverse terrains, weather conditions, and operating scenarios. The second thing which is very important for the armed forces is stealth and low signature, so that the autonomous vehicles maintain a stealth and low signature in all domains in which they are going to operate in. This includes acoustic, visual, electronic signature, and wherever the other places are there. Strong cyber security is a very important factor, so they're able to withstand cyber attacks, and this needs encrypted, secure communication. The communication protocol which we implement for AVs must be specific, which we use. It should not happen that an enemy is able to take over an AV and land it in his place. Like when you have a kite, you should be able to control your own kite and get the kite back after you carry out your operations. Interoperability is an essential requirement of AVs. That means if an autonomous vehicle is designed by you, it must be supportable using the communication infrastructure which you already have, or your software-defined radios which you have already procured and the waveforms you have developed. The same waveform which you are using for your use currently must be adaptable and usable with your AVs also. Safety is another very important factor, and redundant sensors and control systems are often integrated to enhance this feature. Designing effective human-machine interface is another crucial factor for AV design. Next. Therefore, what we find is the AVs have found a lot of places where we can do it, where use in various applications like subsurface, surface, that's in the marine side, surface over land, which is already going to be covered separately, and the air domain. All these are found places where the autonomous vehicles have found usage. Next. AVs and AI and ML plays a pivotal role in development and functioning of autonomous vehicle. The key role are in perception and sensor fusion using analytics of data from various sensors and subsequent classification of the objects. Optimal paths, considering the environmental factor and potential navigation risks, can be generated by artificial intelligence and hence assist in path planning and decision making. Machine learning also enables autonomous systems to learn and adapt to the changing environment by continuous learning and behavioral prediction. Further, artificial intelligence assists in training of the autonomous vehicles through simulation of various navigational scenarios and also improves their robustness. AI algorithms are increasingly implemented at the edge to process data real time, thus reducing the load on the communication system to backhaul all the data back. Next. Government and non-government organizations are currently working towards bringing the autonomous vessels within the existing international legal framework. While IMO has defined regulatory framework for autonomous surface vessels, as depicted on the slide, you have autonomous levels starting from 1 to complete autonomy, which is in level 4. Though in the surface side, there is a level 5, in the marine side, there is only level 1 to 4, which is existing. And they fall under the ambit of UNCLOS, that is United Nations Convention for Law of Sea, ratified by more than 168 partners. But underwater unmanned vehicles, we don't have any such rules. And this is an area where, as in India, we need to proactive in formulating these regulations from our side. As technology advances continuously to redefine the nature of warfare, nations around the world are increasingly turning towards autonomous systems. Let me just touch upon two of these programs which are from the international side. First one is the DARPA program, which is Anti-Submarine Warfare Continuous Train Unmanned Vehicle. This also doesn't require any human intervention. It's used for anti-submarine warfare. Next is the Boeing Echo Voyager, a similar unmanned vessel which is used, no human intervention required, consists of, you can put in various types of sensors to operate this platform. Next. The capability induction plan for Indian Navy emphasizes on research and development, and accordingly, IN has collaborated with academia and public sector units for design and development of autonomous vessels. We at WESI are also making significant progress in this domain. IN has already inducted anti-submarine warfare gliders, autonomous surface vessels for mine countermeasure, and ASW anti-submarine warfare roles. Further development of high-endurance autonomous underwater vehicles is in an advanced stage in the Navy. The future induction focuses on swarm drones, autonomous weaponized swarm drones, to name a few. So from ASVs, AUVs, loitering munitions, remotely piloted aircrafts, AAVs, and AVs for sub-operations are the things which the Navy is looking into. Next. We are actively collaborating with the Indian industry to develop these vehicles which are there. Next. I've already covered ASW waveguiders. We have already inducted. High-endurance autonomous vehicle are something we are seriously looking upon, and the future project is the swarms of AUVs and autonomous vehicles. Next. On INS Makar, we already have AUVs which have already been inducted in 2012, and as you can see, the red object which is floating in the water, it does underwater mapping and environment monitoring. This is an older generation system which is there. Next. This is an AFIB which we have developed jointly between Bharat Electronics and WESI. This is an autonomous fast intercept boat. It has achieved level 4 autonomy. It has done multiple missions between Karwar and Goa. We intend shortly to sail it in autonomous mode from Goa to Mumbai. And presently it has been used for detecting mines. That is a cloise which is floating behind. It will make the mine blast by going over it. Next. Micro AUV is another project which in WESI we are pursuing. We are aiming it to get an endurance of around 7 to 9 hours with a length of 2.5 meters, multi-role AUV, mine sweeping, and as an expendable underwater target. This also we are developing along with Bharat Electronics and other startups which are there. So we have made a floor drone for surveillance, which we are currently testing in our island territory in Port Blair. This has got an AIS inbuilt into it so that it can monitor the perimeter security of the islands. We have already tested in some of the naval bases before taking it there. Next. We are also in the process of developing a sea drone, which is a low freeboard ASV. Length of around 5 meters, endurance 8 hours, sensors are electro-optical, IR, and sonar. Next. These are some of the projects which are currently being pursued by the Indian industry and DRDO. You'll get the details about it on the internet. There are enough material available on them. So I'll just put the pictures of the projects which are currently going up. Now, what are the challenges which are there when we are operating these things, especially in the underwater domain? The foremost is the limited communication bandwidth, multipath propagation, and high attenuation. Underwater navigation without GPS also poses a threat to reliable and safe operations. Underwater vehicles typically rely on batteries, and energy storage remains a limiting factor for their endurance and operational range. Developing advanced sensors for accurate data collection in complex underwater environment is a significant challenge. Enhancing the perception capabilities of UUVs, including object recognition and environmental monitoring, is crucial for various applications. Development and deployment of underwater platforms can be it's a very expensive area to get into. It's not so cheap that you just pick up something which is commercially available, sir. Therefore, it has to be noted that the future of autonomous platforms in the underwater domain is one area there is going to be a huge amount of growth, and we are expecting the growth of around 16% till around 2030. This is from the information which is available on the internet. The challenges faced in the development of autonomous platforms can be overcome by effectively chartering an analytical framework addressing the key components. The first is the technology element, which addresses the organizational research and development effort in this autonomous field. Thereafter, the critical capabilities, namely precision, persistence, lethality, endurance, and speed are important. And lastly, the strategic effect element analyzes how these technology development and capability enhancement may affect key strategic issues, that is, deterrence, military effectiveness, and interoperabilities. To be at par with the best in the world and to be ahead of them, there is a requirement to nurture an ecosystem of startups in this field. And I believe we are moving in the right direction with platforms like IDEX, TDF, which are key initiatives. The same will entail continuous thrust in research and development program. We in VESI have taken a lead, and as highlighted earlier, various exploratory projects are being steered towards Atmanirbhartas. Also, active collaboration with academia is the need of the hour. As the Chief of the Naval Staff had brought out in the morning, the Indian Navy has set up INICAI for artificial intelligence in the Bharat Electronics premise in Bangalore. We also collaborate in VESI with IIT Delhi, and we have set up a technology research park. In the technology research park at IIT Hyderabad, we have got some 1,600 square feet area. We request the industry, they can collaborate with us in VESI or with INICAI. They can come and work with us in these facilities which are available. There is enough area available, and we'll provide the funding and the necessary collaboration with Navy in these places, sir. Budget is something which is very important, which has to be factored when we are getting into the autonomous areas. Therefore, with that, I finish my talk with a quote. In the era of autonomous vehicles, the road to the future is paved with innovation and driven by intelligence. And in the end, next, we should not regret, as Shimon Peres has said, I do not regret my dreams, but I regret not dreaming enough. So we have to dream enough, and especially in the autonomous field, we have enough expertise available in the Indian industry which we can gather and integrate and develop the next products. Thank you, sir.